Okay, so let's take darshan of the deities. Okay, so today I take you to London. They are called Sri Radha London Ishwara. Okay, they were installed at Bury Place. It's opposite the British Museum in 1969. Okay, next we have Giri Govardhan in the same temple. And they also have Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. And finally, they have Gauranitai. Okay, so this picture has everybody here. Okay, Radha London Ishwara here. Gauranitai here, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra here. And where's Giri Govardhan, the tiny one here. Okay, and this is our temple, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. Okay, so let's submit our prayers to our spiritual teachers, so we may given some understanding to understand the subject matters today. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, let's start by reading the understanding, an extract from Introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so Somasundram Prabhu, can I request you to start reading first?
Yes, Mataji. The Lord further says, He who meditates on me as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path. He, O Arjuna, is sure to reach me. This is not a very difficult process. However, one must learn it from an experienced person. One must approach a person who is already in the practice. The mind is always flying to this and that, but one must practice concentrating the mind always on the form of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, or on the sound of his name. The mind is naturally restless, going hither and thither, but it can rest in the sound vibration of Krishna. One must thus meditate on Paramam Purusham, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the spiritual kingdom, the spiritual sky, and thus attain Him.
All right, thank you, Prabhu. So the goal of this entire Krishna conscious philosophy or the movement or the entire Bhagavad Gita or Vedic scriptures, everything, it boils down to only one thing. Who knows what it is?
Attain spirituality.
Okay. So attain spirituality is the concept. So what is it specifically? Bhakti, very good. Coming closer to that. What else?
The knowledge who's the knower.
Okay, very good. Coming there. Yes.
The
It's actually very simple.
knowledge of Atma Paramatma, who's
Okay.
the
So what does it lead to? Lead us to? Finally, what is of course, our final goal is to escape from this material world. But what is that one thing that can help us to do that? That one thing that we want to achieve by attending these classes and courses, doing the services. It's one
always
thing.
think about Krishna.
Yes, very good. Prabhu, could you please put that in the chat? Actually, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. These two things. Okay, so ultimately it's about that. So here. His mind constantly engaged in remembering is sure to reach me. It is not a very difficult process. Okay, it's not very difficult. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, very short. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so just a little bit of high level view of this Bhagavad Gita. So you all know the Bhagavad Gita is actually about bhakti. First section is about achieving what? Through what? Fill in the blank.
bhakti.
Achieve bhakti through
Knowing the past life of Krishna, his
okay,
glories.
that is in the middle section. The first section, please remember, it's about karma yoga. Second section is about bhakti yoga. Third section is jnana yoga. Please remember this burger. Okay, so whenever you eat a burger or sandwich, you know, oh, this is achieving bhakti through work, karma yoga. All that should come to your mind. So when the karma yoga section comes, first thing you remember the chapter 2, soul versus body, and then how Krishna say we must do work. Either we surrender the result to Krishna or we detach totally from the result. So all this should come to your mind already when you see the first portion of the burger. So the essence of it, in the middle part is bhakti itself. Okay, the bhakti itself. All right, and then the final section of the burger is achieving bhakti through knowledge. So before we commence chapter 13, last 2 weeks ago, I already mentioned why the bhakti comes in the middle. So please go back to your PDF or your notes. Please read back why bhakti has to come in between. If the Vedas say the ultimate achievement is bhakti, shouldn't it come as a third? Why is he hidden in the middle of that Bhagavad Gita? Okay.
Escape from Maya.
Okay. All right. So the importance of Jnana Yoga, again, please recall, all right, the practical aspects that we learn from this Jnana Yoga, from this particular yoga, is to detach ourselves from material world. So when you detach yourself, what is the next step? When you detach from
Attachment to Krishna.
correct, you want to attach yourself to Krishna. Very good. Attachment to the Lord. Thank you, Prabhu. All right. So you utilize this knowledge, this entire knowledge that you're learning under Jnana Yoga, what it should result in. What do we want to achieve? Look at this entire picture again. Yes. Okay. Utilize this knowledge to attain devotion. That's all. The process is very simple. Okay. But there is easy way. There's easier way and there is difficult way. Okay. If we want to make it difficult, then it will be difficult. If we want to make it easy, then it is easy. Okay, so moving on, yeah. So we are at part 2, nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. So the goal of this chapter is we want to understand the difference between body, soul, which we already covered in chapter 2. All right, we also covered in part 1. All right, we are also going to differentiate between our soul and super soul, which I think you already have the knowledge. Okay, but we are just going into a little bit more technical part of it. All right, and understanding the interaction between these 3 elements, there is understanding the interaction between body and soul, and beyond these both, the interaction between super soul. All right, and that is the way to attain liberation from this material world. Okay, so why we broke the chapter 13 to 2 parts? Because the nature of the chapter itself is very technical. All right, Arjuna decided to ask very technical questions. So Krishna explained it and we segregated into 2 to make our understanding easier. All right, okay. So again, please take note of the terminologies and concepts and their meanings. Okay, so this is the question that Arjuna asked. Prakriti, enjoyer, field, knower of the field, knowledge, and the object of knowledge. Macam everything like same, right? Knower, knowledge, object of knowledge. That's why. All right, so that's why we needed to break it. So can you please repeat what is the first and second question that Krishna did not answer last week? He's going to answer today. What is the first 2 questions? Come on. All right, nature and enjoyer. Very good, Prabhu. Thank you. Okay. So this is what we will cover today. Prakriti and Purusha. Yes, that's Sanskrit term. So
Okay,
the first two concept that we covered last week. Can please list it down for me, please, in the chat. Let's see who is getting correct. Okay. I want everybody to type in. I hope you are not driving or doing any other work while listening to the class. Just dedicate 1.5 hours for the class, please. Yes, there are two knowers. Yes, correct. We learn about field, the knower, the knowledge. Anybody else? Okay, if you don't want me to call your name, so please private message me so I don't call your name, you know, like if you are stepping out or what, okay? Okay, yes, thank you, Lakshmi Mataji, Vijay Prabhu, Dasaradan Prabhu. Very good. I just wanted to ask the question, what are we talking about? What knowledge? So the knowledge is the interaction between these three entities. Right, very good. Okay, so this is our little recap. So we covered all this and then the object of knowledge separately. Okay, so that's part one and that's part two. Okay, right, so we're going to repeat that, right? Okay, what else we didn't cover? We covered the 6 questions. Krishna explains the field and the knower, and we ultimately concluded that the field or the body is non-permanent, and the body is made up of 24 elements, fields of activities and interactions. Okay, so I'm not going to ask what are those 24 elements, otherwise we'll never finish our part 2 today. All right, so Krishna explains the object of knowledge. How? He says that soul and super soul are the real objects to be known. Okay, so this is the culmination. This entire knowledge should culminate in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. What does unalloyed mean? Please share with me. Unalloyed. Did we learn alloy in science? What is alloy? Unalloyed. Unparalleled? Not really. What is alloyed? Ah, that's right. Alloyed means mixture. So if it's unalloyed, what does that mean?
impure.
Unalloyed means, which is impure, Prabhu?
Impure.
Alloyed,
Alloy is pure, unalloyed is impure.
Tadu?
Unalloyed is pure.
Unalloyed is pure. That means no other mixture inside. So what is that one element inside the devotion service?
Materialistic life,
I think you should
materialistic desire.
I think you should. I think you're referring to alloy. Yes, our focus should be only in pleasing Krishna. That is unalloyed. That is the only element should be present in your devotional service. But there are, we tend to have alloyed devotional service. Sometimes we do service and then we ask for something in return from Krishna. Krishna, I give you this, I do this, please take care of me. You know, right? It's not, sometimes it's not really material necessity that we ask. Sometimes we don't ask Krishna good results or good money, or sometimes we say, Krishna, keep me peaceful. Krishna, keep me happy. So we are asking, as long as we are asking something of Krishna that is unalloyed, that is alloyed already, that is contaminated already, because you're seeking something in return. So basically, we should just render service to Krishna, and Krishna knows what to give us. All right. Sometimes when Krishna doesn't give us something, it's also a blessing. Okay, I'm not simply saying it. I actually realized it in certain circumstances, and we know why Krishna delayed. Sometimes he doesn't give, or sometimes he delays giving us what we want. It means seemingly like, I'm not asking anything material. I'm just asking for this. So why you're not giving me? You know, we tend to ask all these questions to Krishna. So we should render unalloyed devotion service to the Lord. It should be spontaneous. Yes, unconditional. You don't put conditional there. Who are we to put condition for Krishna? Right? Yeah, so Krishna will give what we need because he said, right, in Bhagavad Gita, to those who worship me exclusively. Exclusively means you only worship Krishna. You are not doing any other things. You are not doing other fast track prayers to anybody else. You only exclusively worship Krishna, and Krishna promises that I will preserve what they have and I will carry to them what they lack. Okay, I will preserve what they have and I will carry to them what they lack. So how we know that what we have or what we lack is how we know that what we have is what we need, or what we lack is what we need. Krishna knows. Okay, so you realize.
Mataji,
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, one Mataji messaged me. I called you Mataji. Yes, Prabhu.
if we are too devout and all the time if we pray, but at the same time, Krishna always let us to think for ourselves. He let us decide whatever we want. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, can Krishna can if we don't know what should we need to decide, which is right, which is wrong,
Mm,
can Krishna will help on that particular method because he gave us freedom for that. But will
mm.
he give us a proper path without we and how we gonna know that?
Yes, very good question, Prabhu. This is why we pray to Krishna. We put forward to Krishna, Krishna, I want to do this. I want to do this. I have this is my predicament, my circumstances. So please give me intelligence to understand what is best for me. So the answer will come either from a book that you are reading, or from a devotee that you're talking to, or if you have a guru, that is the best. All right. So my Guru Maharaj has said, when we are in a certain situation and then we don't know what actually Krishna wants to us, and Guru will be the closest person to advise us. All right. Or sometimes Jagannath will just show you, Krishna will just show you what is in front of you, and that will be the sign. Okay, usually it will be revealed through books or from within. Sometimes you can really know, but sometimes when it comes from within, you don't know whether you're speculating it or you're just imagining it, or whether it's for real or not. Sometimes you cannot tell. So this is where you need to have the association of sadhus, where they can shed some light what is best for you. Okay, so it's actually a process and you have to try it out. Okay, we have to constantly read and hear. Sometimes the answer comes from hearing lectures. All right, so you'll be amazed how the answers are revealed to you. All right, so I hope that helped, Prabhu. Is
Yes,
that okay?
Mataji.
Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, so the final one I want to share here is that this topic, right? It is easily and fully understood by devotees only. Otherwise, those who are into purely jnana yoga, without trying to understand about the super soul of Krishna, they're going to end up speculating. Maybe this, maybe that. So Prabhupada doesn't like this. Maybe this, maybe that. The answer is given, so it should be taken with guidance, right? Any doubts, we have to seek guidance. All right. So even from my experience, when I started teaching the chapter 13, it is the most monumental task for me. The chapter 13 to me, to understand is one thing, to teach is another thing, because if you don't understand, it's difficult to teach. So the first round, I actually struggled. Honestly, I struggled, frankly. The second round was made easier because in between of these two batches, first batch and third batch, I attended my Guru Maharaj giving Gita Gyan class. And the way Guru Maharaj explained, it's just like my mind totally like absorbed so fast like that. All right. And also, if you are able to impart this knowledge to others, you share. You don't worry about you're not being a great preacher or what. Nobody is a great preacher here except that we are only repeating what Krishna said, what Prabhupada said, what our gurus are saying. So basically, we are sharing the heart, right? So when you do with that kind of intention, when you teach, you will remember better. You will realize it. Okay, remembering is one, learning is one, but realizing is very, very important. Okay. All right. So we are moving to material nature versus living entity. So we're going to learn about Jiva and Prakriti. So we're going to learn about Prakriti first. So we want to understand the nature of Prakriti and Purusha. So at this point of time, please remember Prakriti referring to material nature. Purusha is enjoyer. So there are two kinds of Purusha. What are they? Question. Let me see if you all know what is Purusha. Got two Purusha, two Purushas. Who are they? It's actually a very easy question, right? Who is Purusha 1 and who is Purusha 2? Very good. Soul and super soul. So now we are going to talk about the Purusha 1. Okay, so follow carefully, yeah. All right. So there's a similarity and differences between these two entities, Prakriti and Purusha. Okay, let's have somebody read first before I explain further. Vijay Prabhu.
Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So here in this section, so we are in section 4 where we will cover verse 20 to 26, but not all, yes, like from 20 we go to 22 and then we'll go to 23 like that. All right, so now Krishna is addressing the first and second question. Arjuna asks, what is Prakriti, what is Purusha? So here earlier Krishna already explained about soul and super soul as the knower of the field. So here we are covering again, so listen carefully here. So we have covered soul and super soul in the earlier segment, but soul and super soul as the knower. Now we are going to cover soul and super soul as the object of knowledge, as the enjoyer. Okay, so that is knower segment and this is enjoyer segment. So now we are talking about a toy and then a person that playing with the toy and deriving enjoyment from the toy. So here, the object of the enjoyment is this material nature and the enjoyers are two, us and God, two enjoyers. Okay, now we want to understand what's the difference between us, the enjoyer, we are Purusha, and between a difference between us and the supreme enjoyer, Param Purusha. Param is always supreme, okay, the absolute. Okay, so Arjuna asked questions and Krishna kept the answer for these two questions to the later part of the chapter. Okay, again, Prakriti, material nature, Purusha is the enjoyer, which is referring to living entities and Supreme Lord. Okay, so now I'm going to give you the similarity and differences between this material nature and the living entity, the Purusha, us. All right. So between these two, the similarity is that both are beginningless. They do not have date of commencement or establishment, date of origin, nothing. Beginningless. As long as the Lord has been existing, they have been part of the Lord from time immemorial. All right. But the difference is that the material nature comes into manifestation and goes off manifestation. Whenever when the Lord breathes out, right, starts the creation, the material nature comes to manifestation. All right. But the living entity does not go through any transformation. My question, why? Now I'm asking the question first, then I'll give you the answer later. Why do I say the living entity does not go through any transformation? The material nature come, manifest and unmanifest. Sometimes they come into certain form and then they disintegrate, right? Right. So that is material nature. Conditioned souls. Who? They means here you're going to bring in your knowledge from chapter 2. So that is a clue already. Why living entity is eternal? Okay.
They
So
maintain the
here,
same position, just
sorry,
like so. But every, for example, yeah, every constructions, there for sure there's a constructions and also some nature disaster, it will bring down the entire building will bring down. But
correct.
and then which means the time, the period, it's all that period that while it's long still standing, that's the eternal.
Not quite. The first half of your answer is correct. That is referring to the material nature. My question is, why do I say the living entities is eternal? They do not go through any transformation. Material nature, it transforms, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes into some shapes and then disintegrates. They are subordinate to the Lord. Okay, yes, but it's not really connected to the question that I'm asking. It can be connected, but I want elaboration. Yes, they are subordinate to the Lord. Therefore,
They are part of Krishna, which is
part of
even though
Krishna. Yes, correct. It's correct. But does it answer the question? Why do I say living entities are eternal? They're not going through any transformation.
because they are souls, which is their
The
body
souls are
only they
eternal.
change.
Okay, sorry. Somasundram Prabhu, you were saying?
Sorry, Mataji, I said the soul is eternal.
Okay, therefore, give me more details. This is from chapter 2. Just recall some aspects of soul to substantiate the answer, eternal. Yes, they are eternal. So what? Like that.
Yes, their time is already
Yeah,
old there.
Sorry, Prabhu,
They are
Prabhu.
beginningless. There's no beginning, no ending.
Yes, okay, no beginning, no ending. How about transformation? Do living entity transform?
No,
In what way? Do you recall anything from chapter 2? Dasaradhan Prabhu, Lakshmi Mataji, anybody
because
else?
the soul is because soul is the one who generated the entire body. While it's finished, it just continue to
Okay, so
another place.
you are talking about the nature of the soul. Right, material nature, well, it goes into unmanifested mode, but it doesn't expire. The soul doesn't expire too. Soul is eternal. Okay, let me answer you, yeah. Remember chapter 2. Okay, I think I should ask you all to read so that you remember. Chapter 2, who has Bhagavad Gita? Text 23. 24, 23 and 24. Please read somebody who has Bhagavad Gita in your hand right now.
Yes, Mataji. Verse 24. The individual soul is unbreakable, insoluble, and can be neither burned or nor dried. He is everlasting, all-pervading, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
All right, 23.
The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can he burn by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind.
Okay. Text 30.
Or descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body is eternal and he can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any creatures.
Okay. All right. So, given the nature or characteristics of the soul, we understand that the soul doesn't transform into anything else. It's not mutable. You cannot cut it. You cannot dilute it. You cannot freeze it or dry it or drown it, or you can't do anything. It's eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. So that is the difference between material nature and the soul. Basically, what I'm referring to as living entity is the soul. Okay. Okay, always correct ourselves that we have a soul. We are the soul. Okay, we have a body. You have to say like that. We have a body because we are the soul. The soul is us. We are the soul. All right. And the soul eliminates the entire body as consciousness. A person who doesn't have soul, he doesn't have consciousness in the body. All right. So when the soul goes out, the body will be left without consciousness. Okay, and it goes to another body like Vijay Prabhu answered earlier. So that is the similarity and the differences. Okay, the similarity is both are beginningless. All right, and the transformation will be the differentiating factor. Okay, material nature has constant transformation, but nature of living entity is non-changing. Okay, so I want to ask a question with regards to part one. I mentioned that about 6 transformations: taking birth, growing, producing byproducts, staying a while, decaying and decaying or dwindling, and finally dying. What transformation is this referring to? What transformation is this? If I'm saying that, if the philosophy is saying that, or Krishna is saying the soul has no transformation, then what are these 6 transformations? What is it referring to?
The material nature.
Material nature? Not really, Mataji. The material body. So now you see the difference. The soul doesn't go through changes. The material body is going through the changes. So you see how you can relate? You have to bring in the chapter 2, you have to bring in the part 1 of chapter 13. So this is how you get the overall picture of the differences between living entity and material nature. So you get more knowledge when you read Bhagavad Gita like this, because Krishna gives science topic here. All right. All right. And then, okay, the modes of matter are products of material nature. Okay, so this one I can explain this way. See, material nature, they take different forms: earth, ether, air, water, fire. So they all come together to form something, and then they come apart sometime later. Okay, so this is different from living entity. All right, but however, when the living entity has taken up a body, so that's why we call the embodied soul. The soul has taken a body. So when he comes into this material nature and interact with this material nature, he causes it results in reactions. Okay, he is under the control of material nature, although he has his free will. In the entirety, he always remains under the control of material nature. Only when he is liberated from this material world, he is going back to the spiritual world in his original individual spiritual spark. Okay, so you all have already learned that the soul is covered by subtle body. What is the subtle body comprised of? Do you all remember from part 1? Right, correct. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. Actually, it's ego, but ego is the it's actually false ego. I wanted to get the organizer to correct the slides. Actually, it should be ego. The original consciousness should be ego. That means our individuality. The false ego is when we think that we are the only controller. Okay, so that is the contamination. When we are contaminated, then our ego becomes false ego. Okay, so generally now the ego word has been overused and has given a very negative shade to it. So ego itself is actually good. That is our original individuality. But when we are overcome by false ego, then that is bad. So we say he has an ego problem. Why there is an ego problem? Because he's overcome by false ego. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so we have to understand how the material nature transform, right? It comes together and then it disintegrates. So this is called mystery of material creation. Okay, so that is before creation and during creation. What happens to the material creation? All right, and that is Purusha. Purusha means master, controller, enjoyer, proprietor, and maintainer. So this Purusha, to a certain amount or to a certain extent, we are also Purusha because we are also master of certain things. Probably you are the master in your house. You are the master of your team, your department. You are the controller in your area of expertise, or you have subordinates under you. And then whatever your subordinates are doing or producing, or whatever you are doing or producing, you are enjoying it. You are also the owner of your car or your house or the tools that you have. Okay, and then you also are involved in maintaining some things. So in some way, we are also the master, controller, enjoyer, proprietor, and maintainer. So this is all referring to Purusha. Okay, to understand the mystery of material creation, you need to understand what was there before creation and what happens during creation, which I'm not going to cover here. Okay, so this is not part of the topic. But if you want to know, then you can open Bhagavatam, Canto 1, because the Canto 1's title itself is creation. So here you will see in the beginning, before anything happened, what was there? Who was there? And then what happens? How everything comes into being, how Krishna created everything one by one, how Lord Brahma came into the picture. Okay, I don't know if you can find this information anywhere else, but if you want to find that information, then it is Bhagavatam. Okay, so I'm going to move on, yeah. I'm going to move on to something more simple, and is important for you to know. Okay, so we have Krishna, right? So we have Krishna, and there are three important concepts here: material nature, living entity, and the super soul. So these are all coming from Krishna. And there are two main energies. Actually, there are many energies of Krishna. We're going to focus on three. First two is external and internal. So you understand that. Now, external energy refers to the material nature. This is matter. Matter, benda yang you boleh destroy. Okay? Matter, material nature, external energy. And then you have internal energy, which is the spiritual energy of Krishna. Now, there is something in between this matter and spiritual, which is us. Why? My question is why we are in between. In what way we have a little bit of that and a little bit of this? Anybody knows? You see, this is not the first time we are doing chapter 13. This is why I told you to revise your part, level 1's chapter 13. So anybody remembers why we are in the middle?
Because we are soul at the same time, a soul that inside a materialistic body.
Very good, Prabhu. Very good. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, that's also okay. Very good. We are interacting with material nature. Lord is residing in her as super soul. But I want this connection. Who else can do this?
We are made of material nature, our physical body.
Correct. Okay. And then how you bring in the spiritual aspect to it?
We need to know who we are while inside the materialistic body, or not we will be diluted with a materialistic desire and also materialistic influence.
Okay, good. All right. We are moving to that goal of the question here. What else? Anybody else? All are parts and parcel of Krishna. All means what, Prabhu? Let's be more specific. Anybody else? Lakshmi Mataji. Try. Just try. When you try, then you will think. When you make mistake, you will remember, oh, this is not the answer. This is the answer.
I remember we discussed this earlier, Mataji, but it's not coming to my mind.
Okay.
I remember writing this down, but I couldn't find.
Okay, so this is the time to jog that memory. Yeah. Why? What is our advantage? Okay, maybe I can narrow down the question. Okay, first I echo what Vijay Prabhu and Somasundara Prabhu has said, and also Dasarathan Prabhu. Yes, our body is made of material nature, all the five great elements. We call the five great elements, Panchabhuta. All right. And what reside in this body is us, the soul, which is part and parcel of Krishna. Okay. So Krishna is a super soul. We are the spirit soul of the other minor soul. Okay. So we have both of the two worlds. All right. I mean, we have one part of this and then another part of the spiritual. So what is the next step? Vijay Prabhu, you were there already. All right. So we just need to fine tune that answer. So what is the advantage that we have in this situation? or we should beware of the disadvantage?
Because we know who Paramatma is.
Okay, right. So we need to know the advantage that we have and the danger being in this as well. So
The danger is Maya, who always try to divert us with materialistic desires.
very good. And going there, very good, Prabhu. You are really nicely carving the road. Yes, yes, yes. Senses is the element that is allowing us to interact with the material nature. So, but that's going further already. So let's narrow down our focus.
Well, to
Okay.
save ourselves from desire, then we need to think about Krishna and also read the past life of Krishna to divert ourselves from Maya, and also when we start to learn about Krishna, and slowly by slowly getting the
Mm,
knowledge, and then we start bhakti, then
mm,
there's no there'll be a barrier already for Maya to enter to
mm.
came near us. So
Yes,
Krishna is
right.
like the savior. Krishna like the guarantee, as he said that he will guarantee to protect us as well if we protect us from Maya as well.
Yes, very good, Prabhu. Very, very impressive. Very good. Thank you so much. Yes, so because we are in between, right? That is why we call marginal. We only have a marginal energy of Krishna because we are also constantly interacting with material nature. Now, when we are not careful, like Vijay Prabhu say, if we are not careful, you're going to be leaning towards the enjoying material nature. However, if we realize that our position is this, why we are here, why we are suffering, who am I, where are we supposed to go, what is the goal of life, then you will want to take more advantage of your spiritual aspect of yourself, which is that you are the soul. Your goal is not to merely enjoy material nature for your sense gratification, but that doesn't mean you cannot enjoy it, or you cannot interact with the material nature with your senses. You can interact with the material nature, but utilize it in Krishna's service or knowledge of Krishna or topics of Krishna, and that is how you perfect your life. So you will lean towards being more spiritual. Okay, so our situation is like this. Sometimes we want to enjoy material nature, then sometimes you feel, oh no, 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 I'm tired with life, I want to be more spiritual, more Krishna conscious. Oh, this is so tiring, I want to go back here, enjoy. So we have people like that. We also sometimes like that, right? So we are here, we are there, we are here, we are there, right? Pendulum, neither here, neither there. So we want to know where we are heading. Okay, very good. Thank you for all your answers. So why we have the, okay, maybe the pendulum has no choice because it's built that way, so it's going left and right. But we have a choice. We have a free will. We can choose to go towards material energy or the super soul.
But
So
Mataji,
yes.
but even though if we really determine, even though we how many times we fall also,
Mm,
even if for example if we try to go to bhakti and also we already dedicate our mind and we decide for ourselves we want to go for spirituality, but
mm,
it depends on Krishna, right? Who he decide when should we go and when we should not enter, or we are worthy or not worthy or not. So how we gonna know that?
mm. That is a very beautiful story towards the end of this session. We will know whether we are worthy or not. Okay, so that's one. Number two, about the challenges or difficulty that we are facing. Challenges or difficulties are also in material world. So we have to choose what is the better one for us. Like, sometimes you say this is hard, that is also hard. So you choose your heart, right? So if you want to lean towards here, what is the effect? You're going to go back to the cycle of repeated birth and death. Now, if you choose this heart, then you know you're going to end here, end your cycle of birth and death. All right. So when difficulty is given to you, is probably to strengthen us further, to strengthen our faith, to strengthen our determination, our whether we are resolute, our mind is resolute or not, whether we are focused or not. So that is why we have a choice. At every juncture, we have a choice. You want to lean here or lean there. All right. So we will we will know the answer to your question towards the end of the chapter, Prabhu. Okay, wait, stay tuned, yeah. Okay, so we move on to 1321. Now, what is the role of Prakriti and Jiva? Okay, so we have Lakshmi Mataji. Are you able to read?
Yes, Mataji. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyment in this world.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So material nature is the cause of different causes and effect in the material world. When there are changes in the world, what happens to the material nature? Sometimes you feel cold, sometimes wet, sometimes dry. All right, so all this part of the material nature. So there's cause and effects. All right, as Jiva, our enjoyment and suffering is coming from uh, our actions, our interactions with the material nature. How you're interacting with the material nature, that is the result that we are getting. So depending our actions, it results in either suffering or enjoyments. Okay, and how we experience this enjoyment and suffering, it is through our senses. Whether you are feeling happy or not feeling happy, your senses will tell you. And how does this happen? Through our interaction with material nature. Okay, so nature is the cause of material cause and effects, where living entity, the very existence of the living entity is because of the suffering and enjoyments. Depending on how we have behaved in our past life, we are reaping the benefit or the effect of those actions in this life. We have done a lot of good in the past, then you will have more enjoyment in this life. We have done a lot of bad things in the past, then we are going through sufferings. Okay, so this body, we can conclude that the body is the effect of the senses. Maybe in this life, or maybe in last life, or maybe many, many million lives ago. All right, and how are we doing this? How are the actions all are performed? We understood the 24, how the 24 elements working in our body, right? So we are using all the senses as instruments to gratify our desires. Okay, it sounds like we know already this concept, right? Why throwing in all these terms, right? But it's very simple, but if you do not understand how it technically works, then you'll never know where to tweak the machine. You need to know how the machine works. You cannot just overhaul the machine without knowing where is the problem actually. Is it our desire? Is it the senses? Is it us? Is it the material nature? Some people, they hate material nature. Oh, this material nature is the cause of enjoyment and suffering. It's very vague. It's very high level. But if you drill down, you need to know soul. You need to know the body. You need to know that we are made of these 24 elements. And we need to know these 3 modes of material nature, how they interact and how our senses are enjoying it. So is our senses bad? No, our senses are not bad. Is material nature bad? No, material nature is not bad. Is taking birth bad? It depends on how we utilize our life. So you need to, yes.
Is it material nature is not bad?
Mm-hmm.
How can, but material nature is the one who is the one who separate us from Krishna, then how it can be a good one as well?
This one also will be covered later, Prabhu. Why we are here, what is material nature's role, why Krishna put us here. Okay, so we will come to that. So it's about, that is why when somebody asked Prabhupada, oh, you are in Krishna consciousness, but you are still using technology. Yeah, we are using technology, but we are using technology in Krishna service. So that's why I say, is material nature good or bad? It depends on how you utilize it. If you're going to use it to only enjoy your senses, then it's bad. But if you're going to use, of course, we are in this, the material nature is a prison, small prison. You do have some sort of enjoyment that you can, because it's a playground that Krishna gives us, because we want to enjoy outside of Krishna's control. When in the spiritual, we become envious of Krishna, and we want to know Krishna. I want to enjoy on my own. So this is a playground that Krishna gives, and whether we're going to utilize it to elevate ourselves or we're going to get entangled in this enjoyment and cause more suffering to us, it is ultimately our free will. All right. So we need to, this material nature gives us suffering. Yes, in that sense, it is bad. But if you can engage this material nature in Krishna's service to elevate yourself, then it is up to our intelligence, which is good, right? People say, what do you say? Make the best out of bad bargain. Yeah, we try to make the best out of bad bargain. And I tell you why the earth is important for us to elevate ourselves. That is another story. That is Gopakumar's story also coming later. This is why I didn't want to have the class last week. I want to have it when we have more people. Okay. All right. So coming
Excuse
back.
me.
Yes, Prabhu.
Sorry, Mataji. You mentioned just now, you mentioned material nature is giving us a suffering.
Our interaction with the material nature is giving us suffering.
Isn't it our own action giving us the suffering? And it
Okay,
is not
correct.
the material nature.
Yes, Prabhu. So I can actually expand on that. So there are three ways we suffer. Do you all remember the three ways of suffering? Adi Atmika, Adi Bautika. Okay, first, we cause suffering to ourselves because our own mental state. Number two, our suffering is caused by other living entities like virus or animals or insects. Third, our sufferings are caused by natural disasters. So this entire thing is material nature. And it is worsened with our interaction with material nature to satisfy ourselves. So the material nature itself is also a part of the one of the three causes of miseries.
Thank you,
But that,
Mataji.
yeah, that is also us. That is called Adi Atmika. The second is Adi Adi Bautika. Either Adi Bautika or Adi Daivika. So ourselves, other living entities, and material nature. Okay, so the jiva suffers or enjoys due to his identification with the body. He thinks that he's the body and, or you have this body, life is short, it's meant for enjoyment. So what do? We enjoy what is the facility the material natures are giving. And that is resulting in karmic reactions. So to conclude again, yeah, I reiterate, the jiva suffers or enjoys due to his identification with the body of his body produced by the Prakriti. So the body itself is produced by Prakriti. How? Based on our past activities. So happiness and distress are due to enjoy. We are the enjoyer. We think that we are the enjoyer. We are identifying that this material nature is for my enjoyment. So that is the cause of the suffering. All right. This is when we forget who is the actual enjoyer. Okay, material nature and the interaction with living entity gives us the suffering or enjoyment. Okay, so and because we are entangled with this in this playground for a very long time, we are going through the 8.4 million species of life again and again. We don't know how many lives we have gone through. Okay, so and then it puts us on the autopilot mode, right? We went through our desires and what is autopilot mode? The thing is going on, nobody interferes it, especially when you are in animal kingdom, nobody interferes it. You have to go through the evolution, you go through your natural death, and then you elevate the species, accordingly. Okay, it's in the Padma Purana. What is the lowest birth, and then up to human. Okay, so when we are on autopilot mode, the desire and actions of our past life gives us the particular body to continue to enjoy. Oh, you like to do certain things in certain way. So the next life, you will be given a body to enjoy that senses. Okay. So we have done this many times before. What else other points I can give you? So basically, yes, material world is a place of struggle. Nobody says that I am happy from beginning to end. No, even the richest person will have to take birth. He has to grow old. He has to go through disease. He has to die. And in all these circumstances, somebody is following us through our various life species. Who has been following us?
Paramatma.
Yes, God is coming with us as Paramatma. The super soul is accompanying us. He's keeping record of all that we are doing. Okay, so very clear, yeah? The interaction between material nature and living entity is the cause for suffering or enjoyment. Okay. This is a prayer from Bhagavatam. You can read this prayer. It's very nice prayer. A fetus in the womb praying, oh, I've gone through so many species or so many lives, and I'm still struggling in this material world. Please do not let me come out to this world. But what happens after that? When we come, as soon as we come out, we'll forget our identity. Okay. All right. So in this particular segment of Bhagavatam, this one I'm going to leave it here for you to read later. It explains how or what the baby in the womb goes through, that it is bitten by insects inside, and sometimes it is affected by the condition in the womb of the mother. Okay, so you can read on. All right. Okay, so okay, 1322, can we have somebody read? Then I can explain. Dasradhan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Carry on.
13.22. Translation. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. Thank you,
Okay.
Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this is pretty much related to what we have covered earlier also. Living entities having a human body based on its activities or reactions. Okay, so either human body or lower species of lives like bird, snake, what else is there? Fish, beast, insects, plants. Okay, how he associate with material nature, that's the body that he's gonna get. Okay, suitable for his activities. So when you're in animal or even in human body, right, there is every chance for us to go down or go up. Okay, and the difference between animal kingdom and man is that human beings get reaction to his karmic due to his actions, whereas plants and animals, they do not. Okay, for example, if human eat animals, then he's gonna get karma. But if a dog, lion, tiger eat animals' flesh, they don't get karma because that is their nature. Okay, no laws have been written for animals. Okay, and then what else? Another point is that the factor that tie living entity and material nature is the desire to enjoy. This factor, right, desire to enjoy, is the one that's forging the bond between Purusha and Prakriti. So Purusha means in this segment, we are still talking about us. Okay, and how his desire is influenced, because living entities, we are always under the influence of three modes of material nature. Under the mode of goodness, we act in certain ways. Under the mode of passion, we act in certain ways. So all this we have covered already, right? And under the mode of ignorance, we act in certain way. But more of this information will be in chapter 16, 17, 18. Okay, so as I mentioned, moving forward, you have to catch up by watching the videos that I have done previously. I will share the link. So every activity like your faith or religion or food, charity, austerity, knowledge, even happiness are split into three modes. Okay, so that's how technical or detailed the third section of Bhagavad Gita is. So if you find yourself, how am I going to enjoy rightfully, righteously? Then you want to make sure that all your activities are at least on the goodness mode. So you go to all these aspects, segments and see what is written under the mode of goodness. And that is how you want to lead your life. And try to consciously avoid those activities that will fall under passion and ignorance. If you are pursuing some knowledge and you want to know what kind of knowledge falls under mode of goodness, what kind of knowledge falls under mode of passion and ignorance, and you want to avoid that. You want to be happy, you find out what is being happy in the mode of goodness is about. And you want to avoid being happy in the mode of passion and ignorance, because that's going to bind you further. So it's a free will that we have. Okay, so because we have to be careful, because human beings get reactions to his actions. So we want to follow, we are following the way of life according to the three modes. But with this knowledge, we want to ensure that we are at least on the mode of goodness. Because if you lose control, then the natural association that you have naturally with the material nature is going to give you various reactions, where it will lead you into different good and evil. You're going to meet various good and evil among the species here. Due to his association with that material nature, he meets with good and evil among various species. This is all reactions, good reactions and bad reactions. Okay, so now I want to take one step further from this mode of goodness. Now, what is being in the mode of goodness? It's basically following your dharma. If you are this kind of person, then your dharma is, if you're a husband, then your dharma is this. If you're a wife, your dharma is this. If you're a teacher, your dharma is this. All right. So you act according to the dharma that is written for you. But no matter how careful and perfectly you want to execute your dharma, there's always some level or tendency or circumstance or situation where you will tend to make mistakes. And when you make that mistake, you're going to create karmic reactions. All right. So no matter how careful we conduct our dharma, we tend to make mistakes. So karmic reactions are always formed. All right. So how do we deal with this? This is why the devotional service is given, because it does not give you any reactions. But that doesn't mean you're not allowed to do dharma. You have to, because that's what Krishna told Arjuna also. Always fall back to what Krishna is telling Arjuna. Do your duty. Surrender the result to Krishna. So in this way, you will not have reactions. So we cannot say that I don't want to be spiritual because I'm doing my duty all perfectly. No matter how perfect you're executing your dharma, there is some tendency to make mistakes. Because remember, in level 3, we will go, actually, if we have level 3, we will learn about 4 defects of human. That is imperfect senses, being tendency to be illusion. We see things not as they are. Okay. And commit mistakes. We commit mistakes. And what is the 4th one? There are 4, just give me a moment. Might as well I just give you that. I can ask Charana Mataji, but Mataji is busy. 4 defects. Okay. Commit mistakes, illusion, tendency to cheat others, and imperfect senses. So these are the 4. So because of this, we cannot possibly execute all our dharma 100% perfect. Okay. So that is why devotional service has to be included in your life, or when you do your dharma, you surrender the results to Krishna. Okay, so that's about this verse here. Yeah, this is causing the transmigration of the living entity. Why? The contributing factor is the desire to enjoy, right? So this is the bond that forges. This is the factor that forges bond between Purusha and material nature. Okay, so depending on your activities or which of your sense is enjoying most, that body will be given to you accordingly. Okay, if you love to, this is what exposure magazine. So you like to expose yourself, so you'll be given the body of tree. If you love to sleep, then you're given body of bear. If this is a picture of a butcher, then you'll be given the body of tiger. I think this person eating a lot, eat a lot, then he's given the body of a pig. All right. So the binding factor to the different body is the association with the three modes. And how does Krishna conscious helps to for us to rise among these above these three modes, because we are always under the influence of the three modes, right? Goodness, passion, ignorance. If you remember the three ladies, right, with the puppet string, yeah. So we are always under the control. So how do we transcend this? I will tell you how later. All right. Okay, so we're going to see one story, but before that, conceptually, I want to tell that once you're given the certain body, right, you will be forced to act as that living entity, as that body. Let's say I'm given a dog's body, but I remember I was previously, there's a Kasthuri from previous birth. I used to give classes and I used to read and I used to, sing and talk or dance. So me being in dog body in this life, I also want to talk and laugh and read and study. No, I can't do that. I have to bark. I have to walk on four legs. I have to wag my tail. I have to, get wet in the hot sun and rain. I can't talk. So I will be forced to behave that way only. Okay, even I have the remembrance of past life. So not everybody can be the deer, the Bharat, King Bharat who became a deer in the next life. So he was fortunate because he remembered what was he in the past life. So therefore, he only remained in the ashram of the Munis, and he only ate prasadam, and he sat and heard the classes. And the next life, he got a human body as Jada Bharat. Okay, Jada. All right. So, and once you are stuck in this animal body, you have no power to change that law. You'll be on autopilot evolution mode already. Okay, so we've been following by the super soul in our journey, our entire journey, and this has been explained in Upanishad called Mundaka Upanishad. You want to read more, you can go to this website here, you can read. So let me read this one, yeah. Like two golden birds perched on the self-same tree, intimate friends, the ego and the self dwell in the same body. The former eats the sweet and sour fruits of the tree of life, while the latter looks on in detachment. So the super soul looks on as we enjoy the material nature. So this is a story of Lord Indra. So Lord Indra, he's a king of heavenly planets, and sometimes he's overcome by arrogance. So one such situation that he actually disrespected his guru Brihaspati, and he was cursed to take birth on Earth planet as pig. Now after he enjoyed his life as pig. So after some time, the Lord Brahma or Narada Muni came and called him, okay, you have served your sentence, so please come back. Then Lord Indra will say, no, I'm happy in this pig form. You see, it's so joyful. I can play in the mud. I can eat all day. I have children. I have wife. I'm fine here in this world. You go away. I'll be fine. Okay, so this is how the material nature is telling us, no, I'm okay. I'm happy here. This is the spell of Maya. Even Indra can forget his heavenly standard of life and is satisfied with the standard of a hog's life. Hog is pig. Yeah. So he has acquired the mode based on the nature. Okay, for him, it was a punishment. But for us, it could be formed because of our actions in the past. And we feel like, I'm happy here. Okay, I have family, I have house, I have a good stable job, I have money, I have enough sleep, I have enough food. I'm fine. I don't want to do anything more. I don't want to elevate my life further. So we are limited to this small word that we know. Okay. So this is the lesson I'm running through, yeah, because there's a lot to cover, and I think we're just halfway only. So this is the conclusion. Prakriti is the cause of Jiva's unfortunate condition in this world. Okay, so I have been giving this conclusion throughout our session, right? And how Krishna conscious self, this is very important because I promised that I'll give you the answer. How this change can be affected, you start by hearing. Okay, hearing, Sravanam first. In the 9 devotion service, reading did not count first. We have to hear, and then the reading comes when you want to attain more, get more information. And as you gradually do this consistently and enthusiastically, you will lose the desire to dominate. Why? Because we are creating all these karmic reactions because we think we are the enjoyer and we want to dominate this material nature to serve our senses. So we need to stop that. How to stop that? By hearing. And when we do this, then we transcend these 3 modes of material nature. To come to this understanding that there is somebody higher than us, which is the super soul, who is the real Purusha. Okay, so we can request Vijay Prabhu to read.
Yes, Mataji. Yet in this body, there is another, a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, who is known as the super soul.
All right, so this is the super soul. He is the supreme enjoyer. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. So we'll move on. Okay, so this is the picture of the 2 birds. One bird is eating, another bird is watching. Okay, so the super soul is the witness and the overseer. Okay, and we are enjoying, we are not realizing that we are enjoying under the control of the super soul. Of course, we have free will, but the free will is within the bigger aspect of control of Krishna. All right, so the goal is to understand this and to surrender to that supreme enjoyer. Okay, so if material world is so bad, why did Krishna permit us to come to this material world? If he loves us, now why did he, knowing that the material world can give us suffering, why did he allow us? Because we have actually left him. All right, so we left him because we want to enjoy on our own. We think that we can enjoy on our own. We left him. So Krishna gave us the playground. So what happens is that we suffer out of money, out of clothes, out of food. We lack of everything, every enjoyment that we had when we were still under the protection of Krishna in his planet. All right, so after leaving the Father, we are suffering in the material world. So this question, this story or this answers the question, if material world is so nasty, why did we come here? Because we decided it. We were just like the young boy who didn't want to listen to the father. I'm going on my own. I want to be independent. You know, sometimes when the children becomes older, they think they're so good. They think the father, mother doesn't know much. Oh, you all are old already. I'm going to go on my own. I want to be independent. All right. So what happened? We are sleeping on the street, we are suffering, we go through the birth, death, old age, and disease. But we also need to know that we have a super rich dad that can take care of us, but we are not going back yet. That we can go back to him anytime and the father is going to receive us. Okay, so the next 2 stories, we are going to cover this one. This story is Prodigal Son. So this story is about a boy that was a rich man. He had a son. For some reason, the son rebelled and rejected the father and he went off. But later on, he didn't know how to survive and he became a beggar, no money already. And sometimes the villagers say, hey, you take care of these pigs and then, I can give you some food, some money. But that is not the life that he actually privy to, right? He is not coming from a very rich family background. He didn't really have to do that. So eventually, suddenly somebody could actually recognize him. Hey, you are this rich man's son, right? What are you doing here? No, I don't want to go back to my dad. My dad wouldn't like me because I already rejected him. And I think I'm not worthy. This is fair, Prabhu, Vijay Prabhu, you asked the question, right? So we feel we are not worthy to go back. We have rejected him. We have rebelled. We chastised God. How can I go back? I'm not qualified. But what happens is that the person said, no, you go back to your dad and see he's waiting for you to come back. So when he stepped in, all the servants were chasing him out because they cannot recognize him. But the father from so far could actually recognize him and say, hey, my son is back. Then he come and hug him and he welcomed him. He goes and hugs him and pulled him inside, and he calls the barber to cut his hair and give him nice dress and got the cooks to give him nice feast. So he said, where have you gone? I've been waiting for you to come back. So this is how God is waiting for us to come back. So this is a story of a prodigal son. This is a story from Bible, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go to the story from our own scripture. This is a book called Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Right now, my Guru Maharaj is giving this class for many years already. All right, this book is written by Srila Sanatana Goswami, one of the closest followers of Mahaprabhu. Okay, so in this story, this is talking about. So I request that you all can stay a little longer since it's the last class. So let me finish the story. It's a very beautiful story. Okay, so Gopakumar was given a mantra by his guru. All right, and this mantra can take him to different planets outside Earth. Okay, so what happens is that this I can't tell the entire Bhagavatam story here, but this Bhagavatam story is about detailed descriptions of many different planets of existence or worlds. All right, so this Gopakumar, as a seeker, he moves from earth to celestial heaven of the gods. So this entire Bhagavatam is about his journey, okay, in seeking Krishna. Okay, he will go to the heavens, and then he will go to a planet where the planet is illumined by the mystic sages. There's no light, so the what do you call that? The effulgence from the sages illumine the planet, and then he goes to a planet of Lord Brahma, the highest planet in the material world, and from there he goes through a phase of darkness beyond the universe. There's a gap between the universe and into the realm of Shiva. So he will go to Lord Shiva's abode, and then from there he goes to Vaikuntha. So the book will tell the details of what he actually sees in all these planets. So if you want, you can read this book. Okay, there's I think 3 parts of this. Okay, so finally he will arrive Vaikuntha. So Vaikuntha is Krishna's palace, right? But Vaikuntha is Krishna's office. Okay, so like us, we are the same person, but our home is home. Then we have our office where we do a lot of day-to-day job, all right? And then like Prime Minister, he has his official residence and he has vacation residence and he has a normal residence and then he has office. So Vaikuntha is generally Krishna's office. And then this is where Krishna in the form of Vishnu resides. That is administrative realm. Right. So from Vaikuntha, he went to Dwaraka. So Dwaraka is where Krishna is. All right. From Vrindavan, Krishna went to Dwaraka, right? To become a king. All right. And then he went to, before that, once he entered Vaikuntha, he went to Ayodhya first, Lord Ram's kingdom. And from there, he went to Dwaraka, the city of Krishna. So throughout his journey, right, the author described the mood of the people there, the situation there, the environment, and the consciousness of the inhabitants there, the denizens of that places, and then what Gopakumar was doing. Okay, he was seeking for something higher and higher. So that is why he's not stopping anywhere. All right, he's going on. Finally, as he came to Dwaraka, he finds like he's not satisfied. So Narada Muni came and asked, you are in Krishna's loka. Why are you still unhappy? You're having the association of the Chadurbuja, not Chadurbuja, the association of Krishna and his thousands of queens, and then you have lot of servants there. Aren't you still not satisfied? Then Gopakumar told him that, yes, I am extremely fortunate to have the association of the Supreme Lord. And I'm receiving so much of mercy, not only from him, but also from the queens. But Gopakumar admits that I am still hankering for this beautiful cowherd boy who wears a peacock feather and plays a flute by the bank of a river. Somehow my heart is just drawn towards him. And I think even being in Dwaraka in the presence of Krishna himself, I am still not satisfied because I want to see that form of the Lord, the cowherd boy, the peacock feather, and the flute. Then Narada Muni understood, okay, in that case, you need to go back to earth to a place that's called Vrindavan. There, you need to chant the holy name of the Lord with all of your heart, which is called the Sankirtana. You perform Sankirtana in Vrindavan, and by doing that, you will have access to Goloka Vrindavan. So all this guidance was given to Gopakumar by Narada Muni. So what happened? Gopakumar pun baliklah to earth. He went to Vrindavan, and as advised by Narada Muni, he performed Sankirtana in the forest. He was alone, all right? And he used to chant, call out the Lord by his name with all the love of his heart. Hey Mugunda, hey Gopala, hey Nandanandana. So he went, he did all this, and then when he was very much intensely meditating on the Lord and singing, he suddenly got a vision of Lord Krishna near him. And out of excitement, he started chasing that boy, the little boy Krishna, and he almost caught him. He actually got hold of the end of Krishna's cloth, but he tripped and fell into the river. Okay, not knowing how to swim, he drowned and he died. Okay, so what happens? Not sorry, he didn't drown and die. When he tried to grab the cloth of Krishna, Krishna disappeared. Okay, and because he was deprived of that sudden bliss, he felt so bad. All right, it's like you're given a like multi-million-dollar filled suitcase, and suddenly it was grabbed away from you. You feel like so heartbroken. So that way, Gopakumar felt that, and he actually collapsed. He was so heartbroken, he collapsed and died, and his body rolled over and fell into River Yamuna. The next thing he was on a celestial plane going in the in the in the outside universe. All right. And when he come back to his senses, that's where he was on a spaceship at an incredible speed. Then he found himself arriving in Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual planet. When he arrived there, it is described that it was afternoon. So it was afternoon, and he saw some young girls, beautiful girls, picking flowers, right? And the entire time they were doing the picking the flowers, plucking the flower, they were talking about Krishna. Oh, where is Krishna? What Krishna is doing? Oh, Krishna is like that. Krishna is so sweet. Krishna plays like this. Krishna walks like that. So they were talking about Krishna the entire time. Then he knows, oh, I'm in Vrindavan. They're talking about Krishna. All right. So then he went over to the girls. He asked, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Can I see him? When is he coming back? So nobody was giving him any answer. Then finally, one elderly person told Krishna and his friend went for cow herding, went to the forest to tend the cows. But it is time for them to come back soon. So usually when it's time for them to come back soon, all the people of the Vrindavan, they will stand and wait for the Lord to come back. And the description was so beautiful. It was given. I hope I can make justice to this. It is so beautiful that all the trees, they were looking towards a path that leading to the forest. So they all are waiting outside there, right, at the village. And they saw just as like how we bend down and then bend down and forward and leading towards the way that we look for somebody to come, right? Where are they? Where are they? Like that, right? So the trees are also bending and looking towards the same path, was eagerly waiting towards that certain direction where Krishna and his friends will come back. Then from far, you can see some smokes in the sky. So that is the dust that is flying up when Krishna and the entire entourage of the cowherd boys are coming back with the cows and the calves. So as they come nearer, they're all covered in dust, they come so beautiful like that. So the dust were flying, and then they heard the sound of laughter and the moving of the cows. Then they saw Krishna and Balarama coming with the cowherd boys along with the cows. When Gopakumar saw Krishna, he ran towards Krishna, and Krishna also saw Gopakumar. They ran to each other so far and they embraced each other. Okay, they just embraced each other and they cried. And then Krishna said, my dear friend, where have you been? And they were the entire segment is about them expressing to each other how much Krishna has missed him, Gopakumara missed him. So this is how we think we are not worthy, but actually Krishna is waiting for us to come back. All right. So yes, we are Krishna's children. No father will tell, no, you're not worthy anymore because you have been rebellious towards me. No, he is never going to say that. If we think that we are not worthy, we will not be sitting here because we are worthy of his love. That is why he is giving us chances to come back to us. He is preparing us to, discard all these material desires, our tendency to lord over the nature, so that we'll become pure gradually and will earn the privilege of going back to him. All right. Because the very reason that we came back down because we want to lord over the material nature, or we want to be a controller, we want to enjoy on our own. So we need to shed all these desires in order for us to go back to Krishna selflessly. Okay. So that is the story of the prodigal son, Lord Indra before that, and then Gopakumar's story. All right. So Supreme Lord mercifully accompanies the living entity in all species of life. Okay, so we did this already. Okay. So I think this is the last sloka. Who would like to read?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understand that neither the soul nor the super soul within the indestructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees.
Okay, yes. So this is the goal of our chapter 13 and the goal of our entire life too. Okay. So let me show you this some examples here. Why we as the small Purusha different from the big Purusha, the Supreme Purusha. So the answer is it's about quantity versus quality. We are drop of water. The same composition in the drop of water that we have is also what Krishna has, the entire ocean. But how are we different? In quantity wise, we are different. Okay. Another difference is that we are both gold. Krishna is gold. We are also gold. All right. But we are different in quantity. He is the gold bar or gold mine, and we are this tiny gold in the tiny ring. Okay, so this is called Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, sameness and oneness and difference. Okay, this is the differences here. These are all just I have added for your extra reading. Okay, oh yeah, there's one more here, yeah. What is the last? 35. Okay, so even though we are qualitatively one with Krishna, we can never, sorry, that's not, okay. So even though we are part of this material nature, we are not to be mixed with this material nature. We cannot think that we are the material nature, or we don't try to lord it, right? Don't try to control it. Okay, our body will, even though the soul is inside our body, just like the air, like moving air in the sky, it's not one, all right? And similarly, even though the soul is trapped inside this body, it is not the body. It is functioning inside the body. Okay, what else? Okay, text 34. One more verse, yeah? Can somebody read Dasaradan Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. 13.34 translation. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So now if somebody asks, or the question asks, what is the symptom of presence of soul? The symptom is consciousness. Okay, no soul, no consciousness. As long as the person is conscious, that means the soul is inside the body. Okay, right. So like the sun illuminates the entire universe. Similarly, the soul illuminates the entire, the sun illuminates the entire sky. Similarly, the soul illuminates the entire body. But they never mix. Okay, matter and spirit do not mix. So why this matter, right, kept repeated again and again and again? Because sometimes we forget. We think that we are the body. All right, sometimes that happens. So we need to keep reminding ourselves that we are spirit, we are not the matter. Okay, this is going back to the first part where we are only conscious about our body, but super soul is conscious about all the body. One verse to summarize these chapters. So one more person to read, please. This is the last verse, 35. Somasundram Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature, attain to the supreme goal.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Prabhu. So this really a good condensed version or summary of the entire chapter. That if you've been really carefully hearing the class, right, you will really can relate. We can see the difference between the body and the knower of the body. Okay, the knower is the soul, right? We also know the super soul is also another knower. And then how, by understanding the 24 elements, how we interact with the material nature, what is the effect that from our interaction with the material nature, and understanding the interaction between all this, the soul, super soul, material nature, we can understand how to exit from this material nature and attain the supreme goal. And we know that somebody is there waiting for us to come back. Okay, but that doesn't mean you cannot find peace and happiness in this material nature, in this material world. You can. It all depends on how we use our senses. Okay, so I can't recall whether it's Prabhupada or Krishna said that you can feel liberated even in this material world if your existence is purified by by executing devotional services. Yes, you also can feel liberated in this very life as well. Okay, we are not the body, we are spiritual beings trapped in the body. Our real interest lies in understanding this simple fact. This is simple, right? But how many of us can actually realize this? Sometimes we forget. So this is the importance of consistent hearing, regular discussion, regular reading. Okay, every day, reading must be done every day. Hearing also is best if you can do it every day. Okay, all right, so this is the conclusion. I think along the way, I've been repeating this. Okay. And this is for contemplation and for realization. Like I always mention, this is not just for hearing and then forget about it for the rest of the week. No, please take up your PDFs and please read again. Read the purport of the Bhagavad Gita, because the Gita Gyan course is not meant to give you the entire Bhagavad Gita in your hand. We are just highlighting some main verses, the flow, the gist of what is contained inside the Bhagavad Gita, to encourage you to read on your own. Otherwise, we will never open the book and read on our own. We will say, oh, it's so difficult, it's so hard. So now it has been served on plate for you. So this is what is the content of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, you have done your 18 days level 1. Level 2 is the detail. The videos are also available if you want to watch. And I'm also always here. If you have any question, you can ask me. And we have a loving guru. So if I cannot answer, then I can ask him. And we have wonderful association of sadhus in the temple. I can also ask them. All right, if you come to temple, I can connect you to some people, maybe they are nearby to your house. You know, you can go over, have a chat with them. We can do all of this, right? So don't confine yourself to only online studies. Do more than this. This is what I want for you all. Okay, hearing in good association, accepting spiritual master. This should be the goal. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here because I've been repeating all this information. All right, so let me end by, okay, I think Lakshmi Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Mataji. The Jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do by voluntary surrender onto Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all limitations.
Right, thank you, Mataji. So we have learned about soul and super soul, how nature and enjoyer are related, and how we are responsible to whatever we do. We cover the Lord is eagerly waiting for us, like the prodigal son's father and Gopakumar's story. And we cannot hold the Lord as responsible for our problems. Why Krishna threw me into this material nature, even though it's nasty? No, you already covered that earlier. Okay, and then Lord Indra story in a pig's form where we think that we are fine, we are all right. All right, so we are complacent with our situation here, that we don't know what is beyond. Okay, and we are forced to behave as that animal. Okay, and of course, we are using this body to get another body, but it's up to us what kind of body you want next. All right. What else? We cover the Jandu prayers. Jandu is the baby in the womb. All right. It's a child praying to Krishna that she will remember. But later on, he forgets. Once again, he has to be reminded in the class like us. Okay. So we all have submitted the prayers to Krishna previously, but we forgot. Then because Krishna feels that we are worthy, so we are sitting here and hearing and reading all this information. Okay, so I suggest for your next reading, please upgrade from Bhagavad Gita to Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so we may have some promotional prize promos from time to time. Okay, and this book, I can safely tell that you can get receipt for this book and use for your tax exemption. So while we are at it, e-filing has started. So please don't forget to do your e-filing and get your refund that you deserve. Okay. Any questions? Any questions you can ask now? Or you can ask me later on. Always keep in touch with me via WhatsApp or call me. And what else? When you read something nice or inspiring, please share in the group. It will inspire me. It will inspire the others as well. So 9:15 now. Sorry for taking the time. Chapter 13 is like that. Cannot very go through briefly. Okay. If there's no question, I will share the link to my previous lessons with other batches. So you can please continue until chapter 18. I've already spoken to Padmayatra Prabhu and he offered, I didn't ask, he offered that it's okay, Mataji, we can prepare level 2 certs for them. So which is very nice of him. So I told him, okay, in that case, I just asked them to continue chapter 18 through my YouTube classes, recordings actually, Zoom recordings. So once you're done, let me know. Okay. So I take you all as the cream of the level 2 students from batch 7. So Masana Prabhu, Vijay Prabhu, Lakshmi Mataji, Jasarandan Prabhu, Siva Ranjini Mataji. So I think only 4 or 5 of you very regular from your batch. So I will arrange certificate for all of you. Okay, so that's a token of appreciation. Thank you, Lakshmi Mataji. Mataji, your book is with me. You wanted a book, right? Coming back, right? It's still in my office.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah,
I'm still in my hometown. This coming week, Mataji. One of these days, I'll contact you and get it from you. Sorry,
okay.
Mataji.
No
Normally,
problem.
I'll remember when you are not
Will be
available.
sorry, Mataji.
Sorry, sometimes it comes to my mind when you are busy. That's why, or maybe the days that you might not be coming to office, this kind of days.
Oh,
So
okay.
I said, okay, wait, later, must call, and then
Okay. The book is always in my office.
Mhm.
So you can, because I park very far. If not, I can leave it in the car. So I can come back and go. But the thing is in the office. So just let me know when we are 100% working in office. So either I am taking off for MC, then otherwise I'm there. Okay.
I'll call you first, Mataji, before coming.
Okay. So because I probably will be moving bank. I just attended interview. So it's mostly will be coming through I think. So then I'll go to KL
Okay.
Central already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Okay,
luck.
so thank you everyone. Anything else you all want to say? Oh yeah, then like I mentioned I personally messaged a few of you, right? All of you are here. So you can join me with verse by verse coverage with our another group, which Charana Mataji is there as well. Otherwise, my Guru Maharaj told me that I can proceed with Bhakti Vaibhav. Yeah, these are the few things. Probably I'll take a break for a while, even if I want to continue the Bhagavad Gita classes with the other group. So if you want, let me know. I will send the invitation link that you can join the other group. So we won't be troubling the rest of those in the current batch 7 group.
Okay. Mataji, later you will be sharing the YouTube link and the level 2 PDF as well, right?
Correct, correct. Yes, yes.
The
Okay.
level 2 PDF already inside the group already, right, Mataji? The
You
level
mean
2 one,
for this
the
one, I
slides,
think
right?
the PDF
Because I
Level
saw
2
just now
up
on group slides,
to
I saw
chapter
inside the.
13, yes. But I think Mataji is asking from 14 to 18. So I will share all.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
until 18. Thanks, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being in